Today we'll be making op art. Op is short for optical illusion. Optical illusions make pictures appear like they are moving, have hidden images, or are vibrating or warping. One of the most famous op art artists is M.C Escher. Here is a self-portrait he made. Let's take a look at some of his op art. This optical illusion shows the hands drawing themselves. We know that this can't really happen. The sleeves are flat, but there are 3D hands coming out of it. This op art shows impossible staircases. If you take a close look, none of these staircases make sense with each other. If this staircase were to exist in real life, a lot of these people would be falling down. Let's move on to your project. What you're going to need to do first is draw a wavy line with a few bumps in it. This does not need to be crazy like a roller coaster. After you've drawn your wavy line across your paper, you need to add 8 dots that are spaced differently across your paper. You do not want these dots to be equal distances apart from each other. Now that your dots are drawn, you're going to connect these dots with a curved line. So I'm connecting these two with a curved line, the next two, and so on all the way across your paper. Each of these curved lines can be different heights, so you can see that the first curve that I drew is pretty short, but then some of them get taller. Once you've done the top with all the curved lines, now you're going to go underneath that wavy line and connect these dots again with another curved line. Also make sure that at the edge of your wavy line, at that last dot, you have a curved line that touches the edge of the paper. Now we're going to repeat adding curved lines connecting the dots on the top and the bottom a few times. When you do this, you can have these curved lines extend all the way to the top of the paper. For the sake of time, I'm just going to add a few curved lines connecting the dots on the top and the bottom. I will not go all the way to the top of the paper. I've finished adding my curved lines. We're going to move on to how to make this look a little bit more like an optical illusion. You're going to need to pick at least 3 colors. We'll be using these colors to color in our curved lines in a pattern. I'll be using colored pencils for mine. You can also use crayons pretty well for this project. I did an example with crayon that I'll show you later. You are not going to want to use a marker. I've turned my paper sideways because it's going to be easier for me to color with the paper turned. Before I start coloring too much, I actually want to erase that original wavy line that we drew across our paper. I'm erasing this line because I want the middle of each of these sections to be pretty round. Once you've erased this middle line, you're going to start coloring each of these sections in a pattern. The rule for coloring to make this look like an optical illusion is you are going to have the corners of each of these curved lines or curved spaces be the darkest part. As you move closer to the middle, you're going to color lighter and lighter until in the very middle, you're barely going to be pressing your colored pencil or crayon to the paper. It's going to look almost white once you get to the middle. At this point in my coloring, it's not very smooth yet. I've more just put down the areas where I want it to be dark, where I want it to be in the middle of dark to light, where I want it the lightest. So I'm going to spend more time on this section now to get it to look smoother. I've spent some time getting this coloring to look a little smoother. I'll bring it closer so you can see sort of what you're going for. Earlier I mentioned that we're going to want to color each of these sections of curved lines in a pattern. So I'm going to spend some time just making sure that I put a little bit of each color that I want in each curved section so I don't get confused with my pattern. I've definitely done this before. That's why I'm taking this extra small step. Once I have my pattern established, I'm going to go ahead and start coloring each part. The rule for these is the exact same as that middle shape. You want to have your corners darkest and then get lighter and lighter as you move towards the middle. For my example, I've decided to only use 3 colors to create my pattern. You are welcome to use more than 3. I would definitely suggest having at least 3 colors in my pattern. I think 2 won't give you the effect that you're going for the optical illusion. However, if you would rather do 2, feel free. I would love to see a picture if you do try this with only 2 colors. This project isn't going to take you a really short amount of time. I would definitely suggest that you just do a little bit of coloring on this, every day for maybe a week. That way you're not stuck sitting here for a really long time trying to color this whole thing in. The more time you spend, the better this is going to look. All right, so here are 2 sections that I have finished for you. The optical illusion here is that these flat shapes actually look like they are kind of warping or bending towards you off of the paper. Here's an example I worked on with crayon. Sorry, I'm having a hard time fitting the whole thing into the frame. The crayon, I think I made my sections too small, which made it a lot harder to color it smoothly. So I would suggest colored pencil. I hope that you have fun with this project.